This podcast is not for children, but it is a science podcast. It's a podcast in which four friends get together. We try to amaze each other with facts about the world or how we found out those facts about the world enough that someone else in the podcast will say,
Holy fucking science.
Today, we are joined by people that you've met before, but also a new person. It's Nick Hawksley.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
In a room full of smart people.
Oh yeah.
Trying to be smart.
Of which you are one.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
pretty smart. You got a big old noggin on there.
I do.
Does stuff.
I've measured it before it's big.
Yeah, Nick works for VidCon. What do you do? What do you make happen?
I'm a hospitality and volunteer coordinator. So I get to make all the food and booze happen, and I get to work with some sponsors, and my favorite part is working with all the volunteers, all the people that are happy to be there, not the ones who aren't.
Everybody's happy to be at VidCon.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever upset, ever.
Mm-mm.
No. We've also got Stefan Chin.
Hello.
Here. Hello. Stefan Chin, producer of SciShow.
Producer of SciShow.
Hey. Nice shirt.
Thank you.
It says SciShow on it. And we have Ceri Riley.
Hello.
Hello. Nice shirt. I don't know what
Thanks.
it says.
It says, I wore my video game related shirt. It says The Midnight Channel. It's from Persona 4.
Wow. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, deep.
It's like a
reference.
PlayStation game. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
PlayStation 1?
PlayStation 3?
Yeah. How do you think she had a PlayStation 1?
I had a PlayStation 1.
Okay.
My dad did. I did not own, I didn't
what
own
I
anything.
The
thought.
only
Yeah.
reason I brought that up is because one of my friends just modded a PSP, and he posted on Facebook, like, what are the best PS1 games? And there's just this huge list, and then I, like, flashback.
All those games. I've never owned a PlayStation product in my life. Been a Nintendo man,
Yeah.
though I did have an Xbox for a while.
We had all the games in my house. My dad is a very big video game person. So then I became a very big video game child.
You were just huge. You were like born 20 pounds of pure interest in video games.
There's a picture of me like as a baby with probably very little motor control, like holding
Yeah.
an SNES controller and boop, boop, boop.
You were a baby when the SNES was out.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm still a baby now compared to The Office.
Compared to The Office?
Probably.
No, really, I'm the old one, and everybody else is the same age.
I was hoping you were going to say compared to you. And
Oh.
Yeah, she was being kind, but there's like two people who work here who are older than me. And I swear I'm not old, but it's, digital media. It's a new world. And today we're going to, speaking of why Sarah's wearing a video game shirt, we're going to be talking about video games today on Holy Fucking Science. Video game science? Question mark. I mean, all video games are science.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
They're computer science at the very least.
Yeah.
Which is mostly what my thing is about. But I don't know. When are we going to get there? Who knows? Because we're going to start
Yeah,
by
what's the order?
who most recently played a video game. And when was that? And I'm probably going to go last or maybe the person who
'Cause you have a
least
baby.
recently played a video game should go first.
Do you want to go first?
I might as well go first.
Well, when did you play a video game?
I think the last video game I played was Airport Simulator, and it was before VidCon. So 6 weeks ago.
Huh.
You build an airport?
It's awesome.
Jeez.
Yeah. You don't just build an airport. You build like the cafe inside the airport, and you like do the lines and line
Is
management.
it a Sid Meier game?
No. Have you ever seen like
Roller Coaster Tycoon?
It's
or
more like
theme
Roller
park?
Coaster Tycoon. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It's sort of that vibe thing. But you also have to like schedule when the planes are going to arrive and make sure that they're not there for too long, and that
Very nerdy game.
so that you don't have like late passengers or canceled flights, and
Oh, that
you have to
sounds
balance
actually
the amount of money that you make
kind of
versus
fun.
the like probability that a plane's going to arrive a little bit late and bump the plane behind it and all
like
that
it.
stuff. Yeah.
I think that
You always want to build more terminals so that you can have more planes coming in, but that's really expensive. And
Yeah.
it was really fun. And I think it's in beta right now, so I think it's probably evolved a little since I played it.
Cool. 6
6 weeks ago.
6 weeks.
I played yesterday morning.
Would you play that racy race or PUBG?
PUBG.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually won a game too, and I was really sad
Ooh.
because I didn't record it.
Ah,
I was like, oh, should I record this? And then I didn't.
watch people play PUBG all the time, and I'm like, no one ever wins.
It's
But
hard.
the other day I watched Ali Speed play, and they won, and I was like, this is the best experience because you never win.
I've just gotten really good at hiding.
Oh yeah,
So towards the end, I'm just like crawling in the grass, and then like someone comes by and I shoot them.
you're like,
It's
why
so
are you standing
satisfying.
up?
Yeah.
Well, but eventually it's like you're just lying next to the other person, and you're like, where are they? And you're just circling like 1 foot away from each other.
Basically. And then
Nice.
it's the person who gets forced out by the circle
Yeah.
is the one who loses.
Oh, that's how you won? You didn't even shoot him? They just
No,
died out of the-
this
yeah.
one was a legitimate.
Okay.
I threw 8 grenades at him, and then I rushed him.
Nice.
You earned your victory.
Yeah, I got that one.
When was your last video game?
Sunday, I played Factorio
Oh,
Factorio.
yeah.
from Michael Aranda.
Still Factorioing.
So they had a new update. So we got all the achievements on it and played many hundreds of hours on this game. But they released nuclear power as an option. So before they just had steam engines and solar. And
Yeah.
so now you got to learn how to do nuclear power.
Nice.
Nick?
Well, I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K17. Some big basketball
Man,
fan.
you sound so like nervous about that. I was like, what hentai VR game?
I just all of your games
The
are
new
like not
Daddy game.
sports
I forget what
games.
it's called.
Oh.
But,
Yes.
What
Daddy
is it called?
Simulator? I
Sweet
forget.
Daddy
Daddy,
something?
yeah, no,
Daddy.
Dream Daddy.
Dream
Daddy.
Daddy.
Yeah, you weren't playing Dream Daddy.
I don't know anything about Dream Daddy.
It's a daddy. It's a dating sim where you're a dad who dates other dads.
Yeah.
You have to like take care of your child and like make sure that the other dads think that you like their kids, and then you fuck dads.
Well,
I haven't seen
I just assume so.
Is this
Yeah,
like
I assume that's a part of it.
where?
You're
Where is
right.
this? Like, where does that come
I don't.
from?
It's on Steam.
It's on
Like-
Steam,
like
yeah.
all the
Okay.
other games.
It's also pretty popular on Twitch right now.
I don't.
yeah,
I don't know much about Steam.
Oh,
yeah. You're
I
playing,
just have a
playing
PlayStation
console.
4.
gotcha. Yeah.
I got the console. Yeah.
So when was your 2K17?
I play that like pretty frequently. Just create myself like all-star basketball player.
It's like there's Nick. He's real good at basketball inside the video game.
Yeah.
When did you play? Or when are you before or
I
after
played last night
then? Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
So
So
Stefan's most recent.
Yeah. No, that
No.
would be more
Mo-
recent.
I'll just
That
go.
was
I can
yesterday
just
morning.
go. I'll just wing it. How
Well, we
about
could
that?
go reverse.
Let's go reverse.
and then it'd be
Okay.
Hank,
Yeah.
Hank, Ceri, me.
So
Nick.
I'm the
Let's do it.
least player of video games, so I'm going to go first, and I'm going to tell you about the way to beat the Legend of Zelda the fastest.
Ooh, speed running.
The first one.
The first one.
I think I've seen
A video
something
about this?
Yeah.
It's good. I will reference the video as we approach time, and you can watch this person actually do it. So you can beat the Legend of Zelda, the first one, in a couple of days if you're casual. You can a speedrunner, about a half an hour fastest. But there's a way to beat it in minutes, in like 3 minutes. And here's how you do it: you start the game up. You write a specific set of characters into the names slots on the entry screen, and then you go to the second dungeon, and then you get the whistle, and then you go to the graveyard, and you wait then you intentionally spawn 10 ghosts, and then you wait until the third to the last ghost that spawned is accelerating, but every other ghost that spawned before that is not accelerating. And then you pause until the overworld music reaches a certain point in the music. And then you unpause, and then you press A and B at the same time, and then suddenly you are in Zelda's room there to rescue her, and you walk up and say hello, and the game ends, and you have beat it.
Okay.
Weird.
So they built that in.
No,
That's
they
a
did
bug?
not build it in. It is a glitch. It is not even a glitch. It's a hack.
Huh.
So let me walk you through
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, please do.
Who figured that out?
Who
is what
figured
it
that
is.
out?
Yeah.
Somebody who had access to the source code,
Yeah.
definitely, because this is not something that you could figure out.
Trial and
So you
error.
pick up the whistle because you need the whistle. Then you go to the graveyard because that's the first place where you can spawn enough sprites that if you try to spawn another sprite, so like there's basically a part of the code that like for every thing that's on the screen, there's a place for it, and you can only have 11 of them before you run out of space in that array, and then it won't spawn any new sprites. So you create 10 ghosts plus you, Link, are 11 sprites, so you've got the maximum number, and then you bring out your whistle. And when you bring out your whistle, that's a 12th sprite. And the game doesn't check to see if there are 11 sprites yet. It just lets you do that. And as soon as you've done that, you're outside of the sprite array, and you are now executing memory as if it was code.
What?
So you exit the sprite table, and you're free, and you're out, and you can now you can mess around and try to get to change a number inside of the code that is the level that you're on. And so the entire rest of that sequence is trying to get to the point in the code where you can where you arrive at the place where it's executing the names that you inputted in the entry screen. So you're just messing around trying to get to the point in the code where in the memory, so that it executes the memory that is the stuff that you put into the entry code. And once you've done that, then basically you have told the game that you are now on level 9. And at the end of level 9, and it spawns you into Zelda's room. And you can rescue her.
What are the names? Are they like coherent?
No.
Or is it just
it's
like
just a bunch of
strings
characters? Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And so you're putting in characters that are going to mean something else to the computer code. So it's just random characters. That is how I was like,
it's like
oh,
the
man.
Matrix.
Yeah, right.
I've seen something similar with the original Pokemon games, where you can you create a name and then you follow certain steps, and there are Pokemon that appear that are just like glitches that you can catch that will lead you through other patches in the Pokemon universe or whatever.
Yeah. And oftentimes the thing that happens is it just crashes. But if you can do it the right way, because you have to wait till the music is at the right point in the music, which is amazing because that's when the number is the right number at the right spot for it to move you to the right place in the code for you to execute.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So if you want to watch this happen, and I actually have it explained to you by someone who knows computer program better than I do, the YouTuber who I watched is channeling Magic Scrumpy. Magic Scrumpy can walk you through the whole thing. And it's really well done and fascinating. There's a bunch of glitches like this where you can inject code into a game. And it's also just a legitimate way of not usually legitimate, an illegitimate way of gaining access to computer systems when you put in something where it's this is supposed to just be information you're putting in, but it's actually moving you into the, you are now executing code.
Does this work for ATM machines?
Just pour a bunch of salt water in and cross your fingers. Never hack a bank across state lines. So is a reference to the movie Hackers, so that's just me.
One thing I'm wondering is with a PlayStation 4 or your computer now, you probably couldn't pull off something similar.
You totally could if they were as lazy with their code as they were then. But now there's no way. This one thing that made this all possible was there are space for 11 sprites, and it allowed you to create a 12th sprite even when there wasn't space for it. And now, of course, that code would never pass, and people would be
sometimes
catching somebody at Bungie would get fired.
Exactly. But there are you can find other similar glitch/hack things on YouTube, which are always fun to see. And there's one in Punch-Out, I think. There's one in normal Mario, which you're just what just happened? Did you just go, there's a level -1 hack, I think it is. Minus world glitch.
It also sort of makes me think of the Oregon Trail, but not because of a hack,
just because Oregon Trail, just a bunch of lungs.
I mean, there is a version of the Oregon Trail that is the Oregon Trail. It's like a zombie-themed version.
Oh my God! Of course there is.
But maybe there are hacks for Oregon Trail, but if you just play the normal game, you can finish in 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Which seems dumb to me.
Wait, how do you beat Oregon Trail in 5 or 6 minutes?
It's only that long, which I found out.
I haven't played Oregon Trail since I was a child.
I went back to play it recently, and I was like, that's it? This is so dumb. This barely passes as a game.
This is a bad game.
This is bad.
And yet, it was the only one we had.
It was meant to be educational.
Was it? You packed 2-minute bullets. That was a bad idea. You sure did kill a lot of buffalo that first place, and then
and then it teaches you can't take them with you, so don't kill all the buffalo.
You can't, and you can't take anything with you when you die. So why are you even trying?
Yeah.
We did play
Something
it in
like that.
school in first
Oh
grade.
yeah, I know. I
it
played
was
Oregon
like
Trail in
click.
school too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazon Trail.
So I guess
like
that's one thing
game.
that has remained constant.
Mm-hmm.
Except there's an iOS version of Oregon Trail in which your children can get carried off by eagles.
That
So
doesn't sound
they've gone in
educational.
a different direction.
That's a big eagle. I watched a YouTube
Or
video
just
in which
small
a child
kids.
got carried off by an eagle, but it was fake.
Huh. Oh, yeah.
And people thought it was real.
My
no.
grandma's Yorkie got killed by an eagle. So I don't know if a baby's that size, just crawling around in the forest.
Sure, like
Yeah.
a brand,
Like
a
a
freshie.
condor
A
or something.
freshie.
Oh man, your grandma's Yorkie got killed by an eagle?
Yeah, she lived at this
She
cabin.
sure was it?
No, she witnessed the whole thing.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Or was your grandma the murderer and was just making an excuse?
Tune
yeah.
in next week.
Holy shit.
Yeah. My grandma, I would not put killing a Yorkie past her. She used to. She's gone now, so it's okay for me to.
Call her a Yorkie
she,
killer.
to speak, yeah, because that's how it works. She used to catch like squirrels and raccoons and have a heart traps, and then put the have a heart trap into a bucket of water.
What's a
Oh.
have a heart trap?
It's like a live trap.
Mm-hmm.
So like it like puts them in a cage basically, and then you
Oh.
can like release them somewhere else,
Okay.
and then she would just
So,
put
like-
the basically just in a 5-gallon bucket and drown them in there.
Didn't
and then
David
take 'em
Blaine
out.
escape from one
And
of
I'm
those?
like, yeah, David Blaine versus my grandmother would be fantastic. I would love to see that. Bad news about.
Has there been
Yeah.
a magic themed holy fucking science?
No, there
Ah,
hasn't.
that could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Good
Lots of
idea.
good magic.
Anyway.
That's good magic. All right, who's least recent? You're next.
I'm next to
Factorio.
least recent. Yeah.
You've been busy.
Factorio.
I love Factorio. I'm
That's
just a
good.
little busy.
It's not, yeah.
I can't pick up new games that much.
Oh yeah, I make time for it by sacrificing sleep.
Tell
And
me about it when
food.
you have a 9-month-old baby.
Yeah, it's true. So there's a lot of examples of gamified citizen science in
Yeah.
which you learn about things like biology through a specially designed game. Like Fold It, you can fold proteins, or you can fold RNA, or things like that. But there's one incident in which epidemiologists learned about biology through a game by accident. And it was called the Corrupted Blood Incident in World of Warcraft.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I like it.
The
Yeah.
incident.
The Corrupted Blood Incident. It sounds very dramatic, so I like the name of it in general. So I've never actually played WoW, so this is all based on research. I never got into it. But apparently in 2005, when there were about 6.5-ish million players on WoW, they released a new update with a high-level dungeon called Zul'Gurub, I think. And the end boss was an ancient serpent blood god named Hakar. And he cast a spell on whoever was trying to fight him called Corrupted Blood, in which it's a debuff spell, and it drained the hit points of the party that was fighting them. And it made the affected players highly contagious. So presumably when you were fighting him, then like if one person got infected by the spell, your whole party would get infected. And it was a pretty high-level dungeon, so they expected only high-level fighters to face it. And they expected people to either die, and in which case the spell would be canceled, or defeat Hakar, in which case the spell would also be canceled. But what they didn't expect and didn't program around was that people would
Run away.
run away, yeah, as people do. And so what happened is players with their summoned pets would teleport away from this boss into city centers, like
Oh,
where you can do
no.
like marketplace and healing.
Oh, and they're not even like giving it a little bit of time for the disease to run its course. It's just like, I'm gonna go shopping
Yeah.
to the bazaar
Yep.
with me and my infected pet.
So it infected both humans and their summoned animals too.
Oh my gosh.
And when it went into city centers, then it was mass chaos.
And people just die because they're like low level, like I'm a level 12 druid, and you're like,
Exactly, yeah. These high level players.
I just turned into goo.
Yeah, I think they described it as like exploding into blood, and then a skeleton was left behind. So
That's
badass.
Like,
Kinda cool.
That's Ebola on another level. Like Ebola's bad, but I mean, at least it's fast, I guess. When your whole body explodes and there's nothing but a skeleton left behind.
Mm-hmm.
What was Hakar again? What was his
He's an ancient serpent blood god. So he's a snake human thing.
ancient serpent blood god?
Yeah.
Just like my friend Ken.
He's the ancient
serpent.
I've
Is
never-
he also an ancient serpent? Or?
He's an ancient serpent blood god.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Very specific.
But he does never curse me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you been near Ken
I hope,
recently?
yeah.
You just show up in here.
Yeah, you just teleport here without waiting.
Just you have really high HP, so you're ticking down slowly. But
Yeah,
us,
I'm fine,
we're
but
just-
you're all just gonna be exploding skeletons
Level
soon.
37.
So were we able to learn anything about disease transmission through this experiment?
Kind of, but kind of not. Mostly it was interesting because it modeled a lot of the way diseases would travel in the real world. And so epidemiologists in 2007 noticed that the incident had happened and had time to write up papers about it. And so they quantified a bunch of things that were like the real world and weren't. And were different than their models that they currently have. So what they found was interesting was that a lot of how human behavior in the game modeled real life. So it originated in a rural environment and then came to an urban environment. NPCs were asymptomatic carriers because they didn't die,
They got
they could
infected
carry
too?
it.
but they could carry it.
No.
Yeah, so it was humans, animals,
there
and there
were
were
asymptomatic carriers.
Yeah.
That's great. And a
And
bunch of them too.
and a bunch of them in all the city centers and things like that.
So you're just you're not even talking to some big wig Hakar killer.
Yeah,
You're just shopping from a
Oh my
clerk.
God.
Yeah, that's someone who was infected just happened to talk to. Healers started volunteering their services. So if you're like a mage, you show up and be like, okay, I'm going to try to heal all you low-level people. Some low-level people stayed near the edges and were like, man, the city center is infected. And other people's just teleported away and were like, I'm getting out of here. I want to stay alive.
But did they take the disease with them? I guess they knew when
Sometimes,
they got
yeah.
the disease.
Sometimes they took the disease with them. There were some instances in which they thought that the gameplay was more risky because people like griefing in games.
Sure.
And trolling other people. And so people would intentionally go into places and
Yeah.
infect and see what happened or infect other guilds.
They're like, I'm going to go see Hakar and get my blood curse on.
Exactly. But then epidemiologists said, well, maybe that's like a Typhoid Mary situation where she knew that she was infected and would infect other people. And so it covered a lot of edge cases that their models don't necessarily predict. Or out of curiosity, so while all this is happening, people were chatting on blogs and emails and forums being like, is this an intentional thing? Is Blizzard trying to screw us over? Or is this an accidental thing? What's happening? And in doing so, a lot of people logged on, ran into the city to see all the skeletons strewn across the ground and then ran back out. And epidemiologists were like, maybe this is something we should start including in our models because this is like a journalist or a public
Right.
health official running into the scene of a big thing and then leaving and hopefully not being infected, but some of them were inevitably affected and died. And then eventually Blizzard tried to impose a quarantine and quarantine people.
Why didn't they just fix
patch
the
it?
spell?
Come
That's what they ended up doing. Yeah, but then people disobeyed the quarantine.
Oh my God.
And they eventually had to do a hard reset of the servers, which is not something you could do in real life.
I mean, if only.
Yeah.
I mean, Elon Musk thinks that that's the thing that we could do with real life. He thinks it's all a simulation.
Yeah.
And maybe if we get ourselves in a tight enough spot, those aliens that created the computer program that is our universe might be like, okay, let's just put them back a couple of months.
Yeah, rewind.
It was like the Omega 13 drive.
If you name your baby the right string of digits, and then we spawn enough humans,
Just injecting code into
Yeah.
the... Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
we can lower the temperature
Yeah.
of the ocean.
Oh, yeah. And when it hits a certain degree point, put
Yeah.
them in an exact geographic
Yeah.
location,
Yep.
and then everything will.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way to inject code into this bullshit universe.
That's what computer scientists should be focused on, not this.
I love when computer games accidentally become models for like real life situations.
Yeah.
Like watching the economics and sociology of worlds like that, of like Eve and other MMORPGs, just fascinating. And like how like not just disease, but like you do see certain places like with like ideas that are in like the human players' heads traveling as well. And those can be like understanding how to take on a certain kind of situation, but they can also be like feeling like in Eve, you had certain people who were like, well, we're here to have a good time. And some people were like, no, we're here to win and to screw people, and to like that perspective kind of being like, well, we're like, there's a place in that universe where people are dicks, and that's the fun. That's the fun part of it for them. And to know that if you like want to be a dick, go over there.
Go there. Go to dick
But
land.
don't come be a dick on this side, because like that's super uncool. Yeah.
One researcher who wrote a paper on this was like, we should have more diseases in virtual world because we can't like do diseases in real world because it'll help us update our simulations and take into account the stupid factor of humans, and stupid factor being the quote.
Of griefing and running
just,
into infected places to
Yeah, because like they try and predict, like we want to assume that everyone in the world will like work together to fight off epidemics. But
some people are dicks.
some people are dicks, or some people are dumb, or everyone rubbernecks. And so we can update our models. And I don't think there's been any. I've tried to find instances of game companies working with epidemiologists, and there have been epidemiologists being like, "Hey, Blizzard, hey, whoever creates Second Life, like, let's see if we can introduce some more plagues into your games just for fun." But there hasn't been any sort of collaboration yet.
Yeah, I feel like game people who do like make game for a living are like, yeah, I think we're gonna do the thing that is best for the game, not the thing that like is best for research. But I think they totally should.
But also, well, I've heard of like games, like asking economists to help them fix their in-game economies.
Games have like on-staff economists.
Yeah. Because the hyperinflation from like basically printing money all the time like causes issues. Which make it harder for new people to get into the game.
Yeah.
But that's why they have all the like stupid second currencies that like you can buy with real money and then exchange for goods, because then it's like it's tied to the value of real money, so then that sort of helps stabilize it, I guess.
Yep.
I don't really understand economics.
That's you got basically like the gold standard, except that it's you know, not gold, it's fake
diamond,
imagined human money, but it's real human money.
Have any of you played the board game Pandemic?
Yeah.
I mean, I've played it at your place a couple times.
That's a good one.
Oh, it's so good. You never played Pandemic, Ceri?
I don't think I have.
It's about
disease.
pandemics.
Yeah.
You played like I was around for a couple of issues, a couple of plays of the
the legacy version.
Yeah, which is like
where
you open it and you like have to play it through.
Yeah, it's like a campaign, and then if you fail, that has or regardless of what happens, it has ramifications for every subsequent game.
Ooh.
So you can only play through it once, although you really only want to by the time you get to the end.
Yeah, but it takes a long time, and it's rewarding experience.
It was the #1 game on Board Game Geek for quite a while.
Oh.
Wow.
This episode of Dearly Fucking Science. I thought I was Dear Hank and John for a second. This episode of Holy Fucking Science brought to you by Big Sky Brewery. The makers... Thanks for grossly sipping here. Big Sky Brewery, available in 33 of the 50 states. I may be made that up. 36? It's a bunch. They make a bunch of delicious beers. We're drinking Summer Honey mostly right now, but what do you got? Scapegoat.
A Scapegoat.
Nice. You might have heard of Moose Drool. It's probably their most popular brew. Very good, very tasty. It is summertime now in Missoula, Montana. You can tell because the whole damn state's on fire. So we're drinking Summer Honey because it is
It's much lighter.
Yeah, it's a fun.
tastier.
Yeah, it's a good river beer, and it hydrates. At least a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I saw your map of the fires, and I was like, holy shit, there's so many fires.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Man. There's a lot of fires.
Bad news. I just saw, they're evacuating the people in Seeley Lake right now. That's scary.
I mean,
cool.
It was so. I woke up last night because it was windy, and I was like, "Oh, wonderful, perfect." So it's been hot and dry for 2 weeks, and now the wind's blowing like 30 miles an hour. I'm sure that's not going to cause any problems.
It's great.
I did a summer as a forest firefighter, and during the fire training, I didn't really realize this, but like when it gets windy like that, when there's that massive of a fire, the fire is like literally sucking the oxygen out of the air.
So you like have a wow.
That's sometimes why it can get so windy if like
Oh.
Yeah.
So it like contributes to
It's
the win.
pulling it in
Huh.
and shooting it up.
Huh.
Just gets
Well,
worse.
let's stay in the city, you guys.
Yeah.
Let's not go out there. It's not safe.
To the wilderness.
It's not safe. All right. What? Oh,
I
who's
played.
next? Are you next?
Yeah.
There should be a forest firefighting simulating game where you run a crew.
Yeah.
Put
No.
the fire
Yes. Let's do it. Let's do it. Who knows how to program video games?
I want to learn, but I don't have that much free time.
I made Pac-Man once, but that was for a class. as far as I
never
got.
made a game. No, I only coded boring stuff for like databases.
See, I'm interested in that too.
Yeah.
I want to learn how to code a game and also my own productivity like app that like does everything that I want it
But
to
there are
do,
so many
because
productivity
none of them
apps.
do everything that I want it to do in the way that I want it to do it. So I just want to make my
So they
own.
all get 1 star.
That was
No,
really,
they're-
that's the nerdiest thing I've ever heard.
Have you found an open source productivity app so you at least
Yeah,
But
you can
even if it
start
was
off?
from there.
open source, I don't know what to do with that.
But that's like something to build
I have
off
to
of. You can learn
Yeah, you don't know what to
fewer
do.
things.
Yeah, but you can learn. You don't want to build it from scratch
No, probably not.
because then you're just always fixing bugs
Mhm.
for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Adding feature, and it's just nobody wants it except you. And
I mean, if I'm the only person that uses it, I'm okay with that.
I'd rather you make a forest firefighting game.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to do that.
Okay, fine.
But I will tell you
okay, tell me
about
about.
something. So the study that I was looking at was trying to figure out what kind of benefits video games had for like non-entertainment purposes, specifically like surgeons.
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin,
Like surgery simulator.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Where you just like
the one where
jiggle
you
people
fumble
around,
around.
until like the right thing falls out.
just like that.
Yeah.
My cousin is a surgeon, and he was saying that during medical school, like the people who had played a lot of video games seemed to be able to pick it up faster with like where you control
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
the robotic arm or whatever.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what they were looking at here, the laparoscopic surgery,
Yeah.
which is like the minimally invasive surgery where they stick a camera in and just some like small arms, and then you
Yeah, they make a
have to
little,
control
couple
it.
little cuts, and then you put the robot arms inside of the person,
Yeah.
and it's in there duping around.
And you-
duping around, and I'm not sure
Yeah,
what
Nick just made a weird face.
The robot arm.
is the robot eating the person from the inside.
We should just move
Turn
on.
the
I
person
think-
into a puppet.
I don't know what kind of hentai VR porn Nick Hoss is looking at.
I was thinking that the robot arm would just like make you a ventriloquist.
Oh
puppet.
yeah,
Oh,
just
yeah.
okay, good. okay, now I
Like,
get
look
it.
at him talking.
That's good.
It's definitely what all surgeons do. Just like,
Yeah, you're.
look at this idiot.
Why does my neck hurt so bad?
Check it out.
Oh,
Picking
yeah.
his nose.
Success. Video games help you pick your nose. Is I
Oh,
think
man.
what they
I
found.
sometimes I wish I had like a little robot that would do that for me. My fingers are real big, and my nostrils are
yeah.
kind of small.
There's probably such a thing like
sure
a
they've
back
got,
scratcher, but
like,
like
a
a
nose
nose
taker.
taker. Yeah.
Yeah, or like
I think I just hire a child. He's got really small fingers.
that's
Good thing you made
Disgusting.
one recently.
Yeah, well, yeah. He has terrible motor control right now, but maybe soon.
Oren.
Hey,
Pick my nose. I'll give you a quarter.
are too big. My nostrils are. Get your little guys in there. This is my dad voice. That's how I talk when I'm flirting with other dads.
That's how you get them, apparently. I wouldn't know. I'm not a
Legitimately
dad.
interested in that game.
Yeah, no, it looks fantastic. I've only watched a couple of Let's Plays, but
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna play it myself.
So, anyways, this kind of surgery requires hand-eye coordination, visual spatial skills, and video games might help people learn or like give people a base of skills in that area. And there have been a number of studies that have looked at this kind of thing, but it's been mixed results. So they wanted to do it also. And they've had 40 recent graduates who had very minimal experience with this kind of surgery. 20 were gamers and 20 were non-gamers. And they actually wanted to confirm that the gamers had a higher skill level. So they had them play a couple like tablet games and then tested their ability. And they specified that they used the hard difficulty mode, which I really liked.
They specify what tablet game you let them play.
Yes. I don't remember what they were called, but they are like, they're games that you can get, but they like require the skills
Yeah.
that they're looking at. And the gamers did, in fact, score higher. It was like roughly 20 to 15 versus 27 to 15, whatever those scores mean for the gamers versus non-gamers. And then they had one chance to do a test on a surgery simulator where they had to control the camera and complete a couple of different tasks. In all of the measurements, the gamers performed better than the non-gamers.
Oh my God.
Although only 3 of them, I think, were statistically significant, but all the measured scores were higher. Although they tested like camera accuracy and maintaining the camera horizon, which I'm not 100% sure what that means, but
I figured if you knew what it meant, you would have said what it meant.
Controlling the camera.
Yeah.
And that was like gamers scored in the 70s, non-gamers were like 40 to 60. But then surprisingly, like, I guess maybe not surprisingly, I don't know. But in the test of economy of hand movement, there was no difference between gamers and non-gamers, which I sort of think is interesting because you would expect there to be more economy. But I guess if it's unfamiliar motions, I don't know. Who knows? And there was a 2-handed exercise test that they both performed fairly similarly. But then in the complex ball manipulation test, the gamers performed quite a bit better and finished much faster.
Holy fucking science.
Oh my God, the gamers were better at complex ball manipulation.
And
Is that what you're
finishing.
telling me?
Yeah.
Hey, they finished faster.
Yeah. So that's what we've learned here
All right.
today.
Well, I feel like there's no joke to make there. The joke just made itself. All right. Congratulations, all gamers, at being so proficient at finishing complex ball manipulation.
Yes. Grats. But yeah, I don't know how much there else is.
I feel like that's an important part of Dream Daddy as well.
Probably. You know.
Complex ball manipulation. That's like
Yeah, that's great. That's
ASL and what is your proficiency at complex ball manipulation? Because my balls are complex.
which is it a complicated
I don't
ball
know.
or is it complicated
I'm trying to figure.
manipulation? Who knows? No one will ever know.
Well, it sort of made me think of those. Michael had one that's like a 3D printed capsule that to open the capsule, it was like a puzzle.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining that for my balls.
I thought we were going to get back to science, but we didn't.
Just one, yeah.
I mean, it's sort of intuitive.
So I had the experience when researching for this episode that every story I found about video games was a bunch of people who liked video games being like, see, video games are good for me. See, they don't make me violent. They don't make me a bad person. And in fact, they make me a better person. See, the science says it. And I'm just like, that seems selective in maybe some ways.
Yeah.
It seems like Reddit might be maybe a little more full of studies that tell you that video games are a good thing than studies that tell you that video games are a bad thing.
I mean,
this
I think
seems
there are some
pretty
benefits.
clear. Yeah, it seems like a pretty clear and what it is like this would make sense if it were true. So let's test if it was true, and then it indeed
it
was
seems
true.
to be true. Yeah.
It reminds me of the research. I don't remember if it's been conclusive or if it's people who have played a lot of video games, but like driving simulators, it's like we would be able to drive better if there were video game controllers in cars or things like that. Or if it was like,
Ooh.
I don't think
I don't
would.
think so.
No, yeah, I'm definitely better
Weird.
at driving my car than driving
Video game
internet cars.
Yeah.
Like the
accelerate and
the squeezing triggers and I crash a lot of cars when I'm playing.
I mean,
GTA.
I
That's 'cause
assume
there's
that
no
was
consequences.
Well, it's partially because there's no consequences. It's also partially because I'm bored and I'm trying to get somewhere. Like, I'm not waiting at a red light at a video game. No. It's not going to happen ever.
That's true. But I assume there were studies done that were showing that was the case.
I don't remember exactly. I think I've seen studies about flight simulators being like actually training to fly real planes. And I think for the video game controllers and cars, it was younger people who had exclusively played like driving video games.
Okay.
And that was more intuitive to them to like
Gotcha.
drive a car than
so
learning
it's like they didn't
driving
learn.
test. They hadn't learned to drive yet.
Okay.
But they had played video games in which he
Interesting.
drove, and it was like an easier
I got
interface to
this.
try and translate. Yeah.
It's like, they can drift like nobody's business.
Yeah. Where's the handbrake button? Because I was going to say, I went in the opposite direction because I got into racing video games and I'm like, this controller does not do anything. Like, I can't get
you
the
race
nuanced
cars.
control. Yeah, I need a foot pedal. My left foot knows what to do. My right foot, my fingers don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So
But I don't know, because that is entirely hearsay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like now that I have played some driving games, I would be able to maybe drift faster, like figure out how to do it faster than if I was just like, okay, teach me how to turn fast on this turn. So I have sort of a more intuitive idea of how like a car goes around a corner.
Yeah. How realistic are Mario Kart physics? Because I'm really good at drifting in that. I cannot drive.
You just hop up.
Hop and then like hold down and then wiggle a little bit and then you like get your yellow sparks.
Probably
blue
not
sparks.
very.
Okay.
It turns out that even games that try to be realistic are
Not
still
super realistic.
fairly far away from being realistic.
Yeah.
It's just complicated physics.
I believe that. Hey, Nick,
What's up? Okay, you ready?
tell me about science and video games.
So I found a study that it was a relatively small sample size, but this study showed that playing a visuospatial game or a game that requires visuospatial demands, such as Tetris, was the specific game used in this.
Yep.
After a traumatic event, in this study, it was either witnessing or being in a car crash or a vehicle, whatever. Post the car crash, the participants played 10 to 20 minutes of Tetris every day. And
I thought like right afterward, like
In the ambulance, they have.
Yeah, they're like patching your leg up and like they're like, you might not have that leg anymore, but here's the Game Boy.
So they had everyone do that, and then their control group was like people just would like write down their feelings. It was like a journal. And so the people that played Tetris for 10 to 20 minutes a day for a week and then a month is when they checked up on them and they did more phone calls, had significantly less amounts of visual intrusive memories. So they would see the accident less.
Interesting. Because I don't know if any of you are ever hardcore Tetris players like I was.
I mean, I love
I
Tetris.
don't know if I would say hardcore,
I
but
played it, yeah.
There's definitely a thing where I think this happens in any video game where you play it a lot. You go to bed and you close
see
your
it.
eyes and you see it,
Yeah.
which definitely has happened to me with Tetris, but has happened to me with a number of other games as well.
Well, in this, it also says that the memory consolidation theory, which I couldn't tell you what that is exactly, but suggests a time window of several hours post-trauma during which trauma memory is malleable and vulnerable to disruption. So,
So you should
yeah.
have Game Boys and
immediately
ambulances.
play.
Wow, we need to do this is good because we need to figure out how to make people not messed up by the bad things that happen to them. And if it's as simple as Tetris.
I also wondered, like, what other, I mean, is like Candy Crush?
Yeah.
Copywritten.
I don't think it is copywritten, actually. The Tetris song is
Or
very
like
old.
Dr. Mario's
Yeah,
similar
sure.
to, yeah.
Well, I mean, Candy Crush is everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
Yeah.
So anytime anything bad happens to you, just immediately
Don't write
start
about
playing
your
video
feelings.
games.
Writing about your feelings does not help.
No.
You need to bust out that.
Well, this is specific to the visual aspect of your
Yeah.
memory. So you won't ever see that awful car accident.
happening over
Well, maybe
and
you
over, and
will,
over
but-
again in your brain.
Yeah.
There is a part of me that sort of feels like we are doing a massive experiment on human consciousness by having games be such a new and large part of our lives. People are very malleable and like we are very good at dealing with whatever situation we are in. So I'm not like worried that we're going to die as a species because of video games or anything, but I do feel like, and this to some extent has been the case since we left, hunter-gathering. You don't really know the effects these things are these things are going to have on our brains. But it does, and it's nice to know that we are doing some research on it. And it seems like we're probably going to be okay.
As long as it's fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't play a lot of games that I don't like.
Yeah.
Well, have any of you watched Black Mirror at all?
I have watched.
There's the one episode where you create your
Like your avatar.
avatar, and then you get like points for your avatar, but they only exist in like a lab. Where getting points for your avatar is like the whole
the
point.
one where you ride the bike all day.
Yeah, it's really dark.
Yeah.
It seems that that's what they seem to be.
Yes.
I mean, we are all just generating points in one way or another. Boom.
Yeah, achievement.
Yeah,
Which
just like
points are these?
yeah, social
Where are my
credibility
points?
and like
Yeah, your social capital.
your social capital and your love points. with your loved
Your
ones.
dream daddy points.
Ooh, yeah.
So there's a lot of different points.
Yeah, not just the one.
Oh.
And obviously
Some points
the
are worth
easy-
more.
complicated.
Skill points, you're like leveling up and putting it into different
Level
attributes,
10
yeah.
producer.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and your bank points, of course, are
Why
the
can't that just
major.
be one kind of point? And then if I like level up in
'Cause
one
you're more
area,
than
I
that,
can
Stefan.
spend the points to level up or like my skill in other areas.
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice.
It'd be great if we were all just characters in Diablo 3.
Right?
Here's what
We're
you could
not.
do. Have a kid, name it a series of digits.
I like this.
Yeah.
Or maybe get a dog. Maybe that's a good
Is
first
it-
step.
Oh, yeah.
How do we hack the simulation? Beep, bop, boop,
Do you ever
boop,
Yeah.
worry
beep,
that
bop, beep,
you're going to
boop.
be in a room and then the door's just going to disappear?
That's great, though. I do worry about these doors specifically because they're huge and heavy and hard to open, and sometimes the handle falls off. So I never want anybody to
Wait,
come down
what?
to the studios without their
The
cell
handle
phone.
has never fallen off.
It has.
What?
One of the studios, the handle has
Huh.
fallen off twice on Nick.
Oh.
And you just put it back on and it'll open again. But I like the idea of getting stuck on one of these studios all weekend
Yeah.
is just like people arrive the next morning and they're
But you
like,
wouldn't
hey,
call anybody?
and they come. Well, if you didn't have your phone
Yeah, true.
and you're like just eating your shoe or something,
Nah.
you all
It'd
have
be
permission to
fine.
take a C stand and break the window. And
I don't know if you. I would actually
With a
be
C stand?
curious.
I think over
Well,
a
I'd send
weekend,
you
if it
to
was
yeah,
Over a
exactly.
weekend.
Yeah.
16 hours later, I'm like, I'll see you on Wednesday, guys. I'm taking Monday and Tuesday. I spent all weekend breaking open this door.
You could definitely take some days off if you get stuck in the studio. If you ever really need an excuse.
You're gonna find like half the team like, oh man, it's got locked in the studio.
We all got stuck in different studios with snacks and Tetris.
Yeah, I got stuck in the same studio as my girlfriend. I don't know how that happened.
Pillows, like we had
I'm
every.
gonna need to play a lot of Tetris to forget this traumatic experience. Just
We had our laptops, copy of Dream Daddy. How does
That would be good.
do you actually get to like hot stuff in Dream Daddy?
I don't know.
Dream
I don't know.
Dream
Daddy.
Daddy sex.
Sex? That's what I should Google? Is that what I should Google?
That's what I want.
Image. I'm just going to click on image. Oh, don't click on images. That was a terribly bad idea.
Was it not
Images
the
is
game?
often
I need to
the
play
wrong-
Tetris right
Yeah,
now.
we're going to have to play some Tetris. Apparently, it's a surprisingly earnest gay dad dating sim. So maybe you don't actually get to, like,
It's pure
You just-
content.
you can smooch the dads.
It's pure smooches.
I'll just, like, search for smooch, and maybe that will be, that
don't-
will be less dangerous. I guess
Except
if you,
for that creepy Joker picture.
that one is terrifying. I don't know why that's there.
I wonder if Tetris is like a good game for visuospatial stimulation or overriding. If programmers could design a better game for it that would stick in your head longer and be more useful for a therapeutic strategy. Because like Tetris is pretty catchy and like
Yeah.
a pretty distinct pattern. But if what aspects of it make it
Right.
so good at overriding your brain?
Are those the Dream Daddies?
Those are the Dream Daddies. They're
That
dreamy.
guy on the left looks like trouble.
Yeah. No, he does.
You have to tame him.
No, he can't be tamed, Stefan.
No. Don't tell me that.
Yeah. I mean, who's your dream daddy of choice?
Me?
Yeah. What do you think?
I think I'm going lumberjack.
Yeah, he's pretty popular.
One of the artists I follow really likes drawing the fitness one. I don't know. He's like the Asian one.
Oh yeah, he's super fit.
It works out a lot, apparently. But
I'm gonna cosplay as that one.
You're pretty
Do it.
fit and Asian. You're half fit and
I'm
half
halfway
Asian.
there on both accounts. Yeah.
that's okay. Together we make one Asian.
Together you make one Asian and one
It's
fit
like
person.
the Wonder Twins, but
Our powers combined.
Oh, weird. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for this episode of Holy Fucking Science. What a fun time. Again, we are sponsored by Big Sky Brewery. God, you guys are gross. Making delicious beers available all over the place, but also very much in Missoula, Montana, where we are. Behind the camera and doing audio and everything has been Caitlin Hofmeister. This whole time, I've been Hank Green.
I've been Stefan Chin.
I've been Ceri Riley.
My name's Nick.
And this has been
Holy fucking Science.
Holy Science.